New Binance FUD just hit the streets like a Funk Flex mixtape from the 1990s. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Binance being accused of co-mingling customer funds with their own funds in 2020 and 2021. Kind of a curious thing to be talking about now in 2023. It is 2023, right? Well, we're going to discuss that, but also the massive, massive drop in liquidity globally for crypto. Obviously, a part of that being the banking crisis in the United States and Operation Choke Point 2.0, and what that means for the market. I've got an awesome guest today. Tom Crown decided to join like an hour ago. He pinged me. We've been trying to get together. And now that I'm back on Tuesdays, we can go ahead and do that. We're going to look at a lot of charts, analyze, discuss the news of the day. You guys don't want to miss this. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I am Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and put away your broken AirPods on the like button. My AirPods, I couldn't hear them. So we're going to do it the old school way through the computer speakers. That's how we're doing it today. So guys, hope that you are all doing well today. I am back on Tuesday. We're not doing Twitter Spaces today. Not because I'm giving up on Twitter Spaces, but because I'm going way bigger on Twitter Spaces. As I mentioned to you guys before, in the past, I've got the 9 o'clock a.m. now. Sorry, I realize I need to send the guest an invite or he can't show up. I'm really flying by the seat of my pants today. 9 o'clock a.m. we're going to be streaming, again, 5 days a week, not taking Tuesdays off anymore and working on more consistent content for each day. Like, obviously, we have Macro Monday. We do news rants on Friday. I got Christopher Inks on Wednesday. That leaves Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to see what we do about the roundtables. But we'll be here every day at 9. And then at 10:15, starting a week from tomorrow, next Wednesday, I'll be on Twitter Spaces every single weekday. Myself, Rand Nooner, and Mario Knopfel. Mario is the biggest Twitter Spaces host there is on this planet. We figured if the three of us got together, we could really make a splash. The goal there being citizen journalism, right? As much as it makes me puke to talk about crypto news on a very daily basis, we think it's important that somebody does it with reliable guests and trying to parse and sort through all of the insane FUD, fake news, and nonsense. And that's what we are going to attempt to do. We're going to attempt to do that every single day. So I've now committed myself to, 20 more hours of work a week on top of what I'm doing, plus Tuesday YouTube again. We're not slowing down. I think there's been an impression that I've been a bit disillusioned with the crypto space. Well, that's a fair impression. If there's one thing you guys can depend on from me is that you are going to see every emotion, thought, personal musing that I have about the market, about life in real time, every single day, right? So you guys, I get a lot of criticism. You were a massive shitcoiner in 2020, 2021, Scott. You said everything was a good idea and you were invested in everything. Yeah, well, now I have 100 investments that are effectively worth $0. I talked about this with Raul Paul on Real Version. If you guys didn't see that, he interviewed me. That was awesome. And now I think that most of it is a casino, right? And changed my mind. And guess what, guys? I reserve the right to change my opinion again with new information. And if you don't change your opinion on this market or what it is or the importance of certain projects when presented with new evidence, then you, my friend, are not a wolf. You are a sheep. And you can exit the wolf pack stage right, because this is not the place for you. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm saying you will always get my opinion in real time on the market and the situation. And right now, I think we have a bit of a crisis going on in the crypto space, not just because of external pressure from regulators and legislators and governments, but also because we are making a complete joke and mockery of ourselves and have so much infighting that it's hard to support much of what is happening. That's a fact. Yeah. I don't know. Tyler says Max Kaiser been saying that for a while. Listen, I like Max. If you guys ever watched my podcast with him from Miami last year, he went on a series of expletives about Elizabeth Warren that would make a drunken sailor blush. But yeah, man, Max also is like cheering Gary Gensler and regulators to come in and regulate the entire crypto space. And that seems like a massive violation in my mind of the purported libertarian mentality that we're supposed to have in this space. Listen, I may think that a lot of these assets are hot, steaming, dumpster fire, trash, garbage, buttholes. Yeah, I said buttholes. It just came out. I might think that, but that doesn't mean I don't support every human being's right to be a degenerate and trade them, because do what you want. Do what you want. But don't expect that if you're literally, there was a guy, I don't know his name, big account. I'd never seen him before, some avatar on Twitter. Yesterday, in response to my conversation with Raoul Paul, he made a comment that people like me, Raoul, and he threw in BitBoy there for some reason, are what's wrong with the space. We're terrible voices for Web 2 because we're like boring boomers or something. So I click on this guy's account, and literally his first tweet is, forget the frogs, we're all slugs now. And it was promoting some meme coin with a slug. And I responded, which I rarely do, if you think I'm the reason that people don't like crypto and aren't coming over from Web 2, but you're literally like pinning a tweet to the top where you're shilling a slug because frogs are too boring, you, my friend, are everything that's wrong with crypto and why literally everyone hates us. Listen, I don't claim to be the face of Web3. To be frank, I'm starting to think that we need to move on to Web4 and get rid of the whole Web3 because it makes me want to puke. But I certainly don't think that two guys having a respectable, normal conversation about what's happening in crypto is the reason that people hate us. Guys, the guest is here. Tom, what's up, man? See, he's got awesome shades. I need that.
I'm here. What's up, brother? Good to be here. Impromptu live.
Yeah, I told you I would wear a SHIB oven mitt if it made you feel more comfortable.
You did, and it made me feel infinitely more comfortable. I can't appreciate it more.
Yeah, Tom was like, do I need to like change my tank top and put on more respectable sunglasses? And I was like, man, you do you on this channel.
I appreciate it, dude.
I was like, if you ever come here on a Friday, you'll hear me literally, like, people hide their children from my channel. So I think we can get away with whatever we want. I like that Bitcoin medallion, the art in the back. And Andy's got it. Dude, you're fired.
Repping. Is Friday like the beer stream, or is that the one I should be on, you're saying, instead of the
No, Friday I just tend to, like, we do the week news and review, and it usually pisses me off at this point, right? Because it's not like we see so much positive news and I end up going on these long dramatic rants, and then my mom calls me afterwards and tells me that I should be a more respectable person. It's inappropriate, the things I'm saying on the internet.
Because she loves you.
No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't do that. She's cool with it. But she should. So listen, you and I were literally just on Twitter Spaces before this, and I think it wasn't our intention necessarily to jump on and start talking about Binance, but it has to be addressed, right? So a lot of people maybe haven't seen this. It literally came out just this morning, a few hours ago. Crypto giant Binance commingled customer funds and company revenue, former insiders say. So this is an article from Reuters, a Reuters special report. This is like, they went big on this, right? This is like a featured thing, basically making the claim that in 2020-21, one of the sources said that it was billions of dollars of commingling happened almost daily in accounts the exchange held at U.S. lender Silvergate Bank, but then quickly goes on to say Reuters couldn't independently verify the figures or the frequency. But the news agency reviewed a bank record showing that on February 10th, 2021, Binance mixed $20 million from a corporate account with $15 million from an account that received customer money. That's a drop in the bucket versus billions. But then basically Binance went on to say that this had nothing to do with commingling user funds. This was used for the purchase of BUSD and was 100% corporate funds. And then you just go on this like puke-worthy again, like volumes and volumes of conjecture and FUD, and frankly, nothing I could find that was fact, right? So I don't know if you've taken a quick look at this. My first take, obviously, is that sure, Binance probably did some weird stuff in the past when they were trying to become compliant and comply with regulations. So did probably every company in crypto, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Coinbase is like the shining light of regulation. And if anyone remembers using Coinbase in the early years, it literally went offline every time there was any volatility. You could never use the platform. Felt like you were getting counter traded. There was no liquidity, right? And Coinbase is 5 years older than Binance. Like, these things take time. But what's your initial take on this? FUD, or is it accurate but kind of a nothing burger because it's clearly not happening now? I don't think there's any way that CZ is doing this with regulators breathing down his neck.
Not a chance now. No. I'm really glad I jumped into that space because it really caught me up here. I just got back from Miami. That's when my voice has gone, and I've been a little away from the charts and from the news. Well, this is the kind of news that gets you mad on Friday, I think.
Yeah,
You read exactly this and WTF. It's like 2-year-old data. And then doesn't it say, well, Binance didn't, actually lose any funds, or everyone could redeem, and like there were no. It's basically said disclaimer, nothing bad happened, but then let's write 5 pages of like CZ sucks and like maybe it's Canadian or something. Like it's just really outlandish kind of.
They always mention that he's Chinese, even though he's actually a Canadian citizen. I think that this. Now, let me just to clarify, Patrick Hillman is, I don't want to get his job title wrong, Chief Comms Officer at Binance, right? And this was his response. And I'm going to read the entire thing, guys, because holy crap, this guy really went for it, right? This is the Chief of Comms for Binance. Let me explain just how desperate a journalist Reuters is to publish a negative story. The whole base of their story this morning is that when users purchased BUSD from Binance, they were taken to a transaction page that had the term deposit on it. Users were making a purchase of a stablecoin that was redeemed by Paxos, which was explicitly stated on the page. The story is so weak that they had to put upfront, Reuters found no evidence that Binance client monies were lost or taken in a transparent attempt to protect themselves from a libel suit. Underneath that, they then pinned 1,000 words of conspiracy theories, which we explained were false, with zero evidence other than a former insider. We've been very public about where the company had regulatory shortcomings in the past. That's what I was saying. There's no reason for a respected news outlet like Reuters to continue making stuff up. Also, the xenophobia behind consistently mentioning CZ Binance's ethnicity without noting that he's been a Canadian since the age of 12 is about as subtle as a hammer wrapped in a pillowcase.
Ouch. I'm glad someone said it, right? I couldn't have said it like that. That's a nail in the coffin. I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah, it feels like a nail in the coffin. And that's from like the official guy at Binance. This isn't like some wild side take. I mean, that's an aggressive stance. And really, I mean, that is how I viewed this article. I mean, yeah, they go in here and you can see Binance's money flows and it makes it look like there's some crazy nefarious mafia shit going on.
Surprised it's not like a guy with a money bag in the middle of that.
The real contention by Reuters here is that maybe they just kind of like didn't say the language right on the page.
No, we can't believe that. I mean, it's a slow news cycle right now in crypto in general. So maybe this is clicks. That's my first thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clicks. Or so when we were on the spaces just now, Mark Lepresti, I believe is his name, is a huge Wall Street guy analyst on CNBC all the time. He used to be a lawyer, and he said, listen, he's like, it's a big deal if you commingled funds. It's not a nothing burger, but if it's not happening now, okay, why is this happening? Why are they releasing this now? He said, I believe he said, Gary Gensler must be waking up and licking his chops here because he wants to go over Binance after Binance so bad, to which I responded, Gary Gensler probably sent them this article weeks ago and was timing the release. There's no surprises here, right? So do we think that maybe this is coming out now at a time when we've seen increased rhetoric from the United States government? I mean, Biden is literally making the claim that, like, you and I, the American crypto traders, are starving children in the streets of Oakland, right? I mean,
clearly.
Do you think that this is a precursor, or even if it's a nothing burger, they're going to use it as an excuse for like increased enforcement against Binance? That would not surprise me.
I wonder if Gary was the source, maybe even the author of it, just threw it together on the weekend and he's bring it up in court.
ChatGPT. He wrote it
I
on
mean,
Chat.
it's literally exactly what I was thinking. ChatGPT'd it. It's gibberish. I mean, and it's interesting. We're talking about the debt ceiling and crypto, two completely not related things. They just both seem to be in the eye right now. This was the 79th debt ceiling change in the last, 40 years?
I think since 1960 or so, yeah, 40 or 80,
Yeah,
60, 80 years. It's as long as they've been raising debt ceilings, they've always raised the debt ceiling, and we've done it 78 times. And
absolutely.
the fact is, the only time that it's a conflict is when effectively Democrats are in power and Republicans are on the sidelines and can make a political issue out of it. But when Republicans are in power, they just raise the debt ceiling.
I've been just yelling about it for weeks now. It's just like, just why are we even talking about it? It's just, this is more than once a year since we started doing it. Just do it. And on that note, why do we even have a debt ceiling? If we're just going to continuously increase every time we're over, why does it exist?
Yeah,
and you can say to rein it in, but it doesn't rein it in. That's like, it's logical, but it doesn't really reflect reality. You know, we just spent
100%. Drusified says, wish Twitter Spaces had video. I think that's coming. That's part of our commitment to going there, by the way, guys. I mean, Tucker Carlson's literally doing his entire show on Twitter. So Elon Musk has made it very clear that all video, that's why I was making the move away kind of from YouTube to Twitter Spaces, but we'll see. Gas fee fees. Someone connected to Elizabeth Warren made up that article. Listen, I don't do FUD and wouldn't be surprised, but we did have Dave Weisberger here yesterday, and he said that all of his political connections on Capitol Hill who are Democrats say that they live in fear daily of Elizabeth Warren because she pulls the strings of the banking committee and has Gensler in her pocket. So even sort of the moderate Democrats who don't believe in any of this shit, they just can't say it out loud. So she really does have more power, I think, than we give her credit for. And, you know, she's obviously breathing into the ear of Gensler and Biden. I mean, Biden, people are like, tax loopholes. I'm like, Biden can't even figure out how to tie the loopholes on his shoes. He doesn't know about crypto. Right. I mean, probably can't spell crypto without help. Sad. All right. We're going to move on from Binance because I think we all agree that it's FUD, and now we're just going to have to wait and see. Right. So the original topic of the day here was, is the crypto market dead? A little clickbaity. But the question really lent to a lot of metrics we're seeing that volumes and liquidity are miserable, right? Like way down. I can bring up a couple things here. This first one from sentiment, and we're going to get into a bunch of charts and stuff. Tom's going to share his thoughts, but we thought that this was sort of an important topic. The largest assets in crypto are seeing historically low levels of weekly trading volume. Altcoin volume in particular has really dried up. When combining just Bitcoin and ETH volume, this is the second lowest threshold we are seeing since September 2019. To blow up that chart from sentiment, you can see it here. And these are those volumes. Listen, obviously, we've had these major spikes. This is, if you're wondering what this is, that's FTX. The exit, right? And then over here, kind of a major one. This is the banking crisis in here. And then, now we're getting back to what's almost historically low levels. And this is basically, if you can see up here, it's volumes of Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, Solana, ADA, Doge, DOT, XRP, Matic, Litecoin. So yeah, it's completely dried up. It's gone. Tom, what do you make of this? I think it's a lot of it has to do with banking relationships cut off in the United States, and there's just no liquidity coming in, at least in the US. But we're a very small part of the market, and the bulk of it is still being traded in stable coins. So there's more to it than just that.
There is. And I actually stumbled across this like an idiot in one of my streams a few weeks ago. My ability to toggle my screen here is very limited because
you just go down to present though at the bottom and share your screen so I can bring it up.
90% chance it'll just freeze everything. I hate to say it, but could you just pull up?
I'll dance until you come back.
No, that could be good. Well, if you pulled up BTC USDT, just Binance, spot, I can do it just from here. I have something really interesting for you.
Try to share your screen. If it doesn't work, I'll bring it up. I think it's going to work.
I'll try.
I have faith in technology in 2023.
I'll close all my, private documents I always have up while I'm streaming. So
his secret private docs. You go down. So he's got the Hinman report over there and whatever. You hit present and then
all right, let's pray.
Hey,
camera's frozen.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen at least?
Yeah, we can see your screen, and you look pretty cool with the camera frozen. Yeah. So we'll fix it in a minute. Yeah,
not a bad angle. So I saw this happen, and I said, "What in the actual F is happening here on Binance?" Right? This volume just dropped off, and you can say, "Oh, price went up, volume came down, market participants aren't interested, etc." That would make sense, but there's actually more going on here, and this took me a little bit to figure out. is
Is it the
something
zero
really
fees?
specific. It is exactly the
Yeah.
zero fees. The
Yeah.
zero fees ended in March of it was 22nd of March, and you saw a drop off just across crypto of spot volume, which obviously makes sense. You go from zero fee to not zero fee. That cuts down not on all wash trading, especially not internal wash trading, but it cuts down on everyone else who's wash trading. It really makes it more competitive there. So this massive drop, I don't know how to even interpret this. It's like, well, is all of this volume not as real then? Because this was all zero fee volume. So is it lower volume or not? And I guess we can only really tell maybe by Coinbase, I don't believe had zero spot fees, did they?
No, they didn't make any changes, and they've been still dropping, but somewhat consistent, I guess, on the low days.
Definitely still dropping. So, maybe I can explain something here as well. I didn't plan on this, but pulled up Coinbase. Their volume is a little better. I think this is more reflective of reality. That's why I've always charted Coinbase. What I'm watching here is basically we had some large capitulation volume on Coinbase, and we're going to have to ignore Binance now because they had even more volume actually. And that volume chilled out until we had the pump early January. And then we got very little actually into March. It was higher than the average, but it brought us above the 200 weekly moving average on Bitcoin. And my thing would be, why would there be volume here? These last 5, 6, 7 weeks, why would there be? There was no price action whatsoever. We've traded between 25.8 and 30.5 for more than a month, 2 months. It's not a lot of volatility. There's not a lot to be traded there. I'm really just watching that 200 weekly moving average. And I think what we're going to see is a break of the high and we'll see explosive volume, or a break of that 200 weekly. We come down and God hope we hold 19.5 or things get very ugly. But until we really break this range, I don't expect there to be any volume. Who's trading this? Are you guys trading this in chat? Are you trading this, Scott? I know I've been a little.
There's no reason to trade this. I've been so dismissive. I mean, I know there's people who are trading some altcoins, but that's also on extremely low volume and liquidity, and I don't see anything fundamentally like. I think you can catch 10, 20% pops here and there, and then they kind of float back down.
Liquidity on altcoins is dead. I mean, you can say it's crypto dead. No is the answer, but is altcoin liquidity dead right now? Absolutely. There's just none. They are really being savage there. I just wanted to see if there was any decent volume here. Not really. Kind of just lackluster. Yeah, you'd think there'd be more, as how many stop losses were hit at maybe 26.5 on that wick, and then boom, market picks it back up. I would have expected to see a jump there. That isn't a great sign, but maybe that's also a sign that traders weren't really that long here. It's hard to read into. I want to see if I move my camera back, if I'll move again, but I don't think I will. We'll see.
I want to see a move. Maybe you could. Listen, I'm going to bring something up. You could sign off and sign back on if you want. We can try again, but up to you. You
have the ship pose.
Usually when I get I usually end up with a awkward YouTube thumbnail pose.
You're sneezing.
Yeah.
Or here, let me give it a try. As long as you keep carrying it with that SHIB mitt, I'll be back.
I got you. I got the mitt. So this is what I'm going to show you guys right now while he's doing that. And I just kind of stumbled across this from COINROUTES. Volumes are driving up fast, already back to early January levels, typical characteristics of low volume periods. And a lot of this is what Tom just discussed. Volatility is suppressed, right? You kind of chop sideways in a small range. Chop, bleed become the default, right? So you see moves up and then they slowly bleed down. Speculative rotations are short-lived. That's what I was talking about. You get a 10, 20% pop in an altcoin, and then you never see follow through. Momentum is low and fake outs are more common. Yeah. So you think you're getting a breakout on these, especially a descending just diagonal lines. It breaks out and then bleeds right back into the structure. Structural pressures have larger impact on price, token issuance, etc. Basically, there's just nothing to do here right now, guys. Nothing to do. Look, as you can see these volumes right here. This is on kind of all exchanges across the board, just dropping massively. To be fair, though, we're just back to kind of where we were. At least it appears, maybe a little lower at the end of December and January, before we saw sort of this positive pop in the market. And on top of all that, NFTs also had kind of a pop this year and now back below $1 billion for the first time in 2022. So even sort of the NFT market dropping massively, which I really couldn't give a shit about because I don't trade cartoons. I also don't trade memes. Tom, are you hitting this meme trend at all? I'm going to bring up crypto bubbles. Well, everything's green, but except for Hex, literally, that's like the only big.
I'm a boomer, man. I'm a crypto boomer. I didn't really mess with NFTs on the way forever. I don't know. I own some crypto kitties. I love to say that. I just feel like it's a weird flex. It's like they're worthless. But I'm not a huge meme coin guy. Like I've been following lately. You're talking about like kind of a low volume, low volatility, kind of pops here and there. I've only really followed, I want to say like Pepe, and it's not like I think it's a good investment or anything, not financial advice. It was just the only thing moving. And God, I needed a heartbeat in this space, even if just for a little bit. Like I just need to see something move to get a little excited about. But I mean, I don't understand the value proposition of these other than how high can we push this on low liquidity and then how fast can we dump it? That's my.
And I think that, but what I find interesting about this cycle versus the past is I think there's like this strange admittance that that's the case. Like the community is literally like, we're just going to pump and dump these on each other and we don't care anymore. Complete YOLO, no even pretending. I mean, there's people who I think believe now Pepe might have fundamental value, but the rest of these, it's like literal jokes meant to be pumped and dumped and move on to the next joke. And people will literally just outright shill this stuff and tell you they're dumping on you. In the previous cycles, it seemed like people at least tried to pretend there was utility or they cared or there was community. Now it's just, I mean, it's like Lord of the Flies out there.
I mean, all trading is trading against everyone else, right? It doesn't have to be adversarial, but it is always against other people. Someone, maybe not a specific person, but it is weird that this meme cycle seems to be like more adversarial. Like, we're going to pump it on, you're going to buy it as we dump it. It's very, very odd. And I think it's because people are very bored. You've probably noticed it on YouTube, or maybe you haven't been as live as often lately, but since maybe April, traffic for crypto is massively, massively down. And I follow this maybe as much as I follow the charts. I would say maybe cut in half.
I mean, so I mean, I can, and people, I don't hide it, right? Because first of all, I've said this a million times. I don't create the content that's going to work on YouTube. I just don't. Like, I don't like next 12,000x gem when there's no volume is not going to be like my title, and I'm not going to be screaming, and I'm not going to like be live trading meme coins. I know that that's what works, but like this channel's literally went from like 2,000 to 3,000 people watching, 1,500 minimum live a year ago, dropped immediately to 600 or 700, 500 like last thing, and now it's, as you can see, like 360. I mean, on my channel, like, yeah, we'll have like 800 people watching if I do a macro Monday and talk to my two boomer friends about macro. But for crypto content specific, yeah, I mean, we got 355 people here. That's like, there's people who have 1,000 YouTube followers. They get this many people watching live. Not embarrassed about it. It is what it is.
355 of like the best, handsomest.
I mean, they're all literally good-looking billionaires that are in movies and drive Formula One cars to work. Obviously.
Well, I don't do those 100 million X gem. I don't do that crap either.
Yeah, so you're killing it on your channel. Like you definitely get a lot more people watching than I do, sometimes. Which I think is awesome. Yeah,
I appreciate
it. Depends. We need better. I need better thumbnails. But like, I mean, let's take a look at Pepe out of sheer curiosity. I looked at the chart like last week because somebody asked me to. I think this looks like it's just going to die to me.
Pull mine up. Like follow along with you.
Just sort of dropping volume, and looks like it's gonna probably this is gonna do that Doge cycle thing. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is just gonna, slow bleed out until the next bull market when we start talking about other things. I mean,
what a 76% retracement from the high is pretty down. I would be. Yeah, this is nothing I say is financial advice, guys. Please,
everything he says is financial advice.
Everything I say is if you just blindly listen to me, it's a great way to lose money. But here's how I see this: I don't see any fundamental here. I don't see anything other than meme and lulls and whatever. But this chart to me does look very crypto top-ish, but it is missing one element, and that's the lower high. I don't see a lower high. Like maybe we can say on like.
Well, if we break below here, we would. Basically, we got to get down below here to confirm that this would be a lower high. But yeah, I think you're right.
Like I could see like a run. What would it even bring us to? Like maybe like a 50-60% run. But this is like such, I mean, this is just such a knife. What is the point of even doing this? Like I wouldn't bet on this. I personally would never bet on this. But I could see a lower high. You know, get people riled up. Pepe isn't done. I knew it. I bought the top. I wasn't wrong. I'll buy more, and then, you know, there's the top.
So maybe something like we kind of run up to here, make a lower high than that.
Yep. And then the slow XR, you know, the slow bleed of Doge. And, you know, I'll make a grandstand for a second. Doge is not a meme coin. I'm going to die on this hill. It's always been a meme coin, but it's a proof of work network. It's not a token. Pepe's just a token. Someone made it up.
I don't disagree. So listen, I think that much like Binance or Tether are companies that started as one thing and evolved into another, like they become more regulatorily compliant. Doge was a joke meme that people got truly behind, had a real community, and started to have some utility. I'm not using Doge to like buy Dallas Mavericks memorabilia at Mavs games, right? But that is a thing you can do according to Mark Cuban, or you could for a while there at the peak.
You can buy stuff off Tesla every once in a while.
Yeah, so like Doge memed its way into true relevance, and I think that that's a fair point. But then the problem to me then is that when I see people from Pepe saying only 100x more and we can be just like Doge. Doge did it, we're going to do it, but that's apples to oranges or frogs to dogs,
Absolutely.
I guess.
Absolutely. And also it took Doge how many, 2014 to like
2021? Yeah, it took 9 years, right? Like,
it just an incredible amount of time. This has been
and you had Elon Musk.
A month. And Elon Musk. But I won't die on this hill. I won't go too far. I love Doge. I'm fine with people making fun of it.
I got into crypto to trade, right? I didn't know what any of the assets were, but you had to buy Bitcoin, and then I would transfer it to Bittrex, and then you would trade in these Bitcoin pairs and have no idea if you were losing or making actual money, right? But what really made me fall in love with crypto was trading Doge on the Bitcoin pair on Bittrex, because you just bought between 15 and 28 sats and waited until it went to 120 or 180. Choose how willing you were to ride it. Wait 3 months and do it again. Sell, wait 3 months and do it again. But everybody knew about it. It was free money. It was fun. Nobody pretended back then that like it was money. I was on a Twitter Spaces last week or something, a few days ago, on the crypto roundtable, one of Mario's ones. And like, there were these Doge guys there that this guy was like, I pay all my rent in Doge. He's like, I pay my car payment in Doge. I buy my food in Doge. I just want people to know that it has utility. And I said, no, you don't. You sell your Doge for dollars and then you pay your rent in dollars. Like, yeah, but it's the same thing. And I was like, no, it ain't, man. You don't understand. You obviously don't understand a medium of exchange. Until things are priced in Doge and you're buying them directly, you're just trading one asset into another asset so that you can buy another asset, right? And listen, I respect the fervor and the passion to do something like that, but no, man. Not me, that's not what's happening there. You're selling your Doge so that you can buy stuff.
Well, that's how it got everyone. We like literally. You're from. I didn't know how long you're in crypto, Scott, but like clearly
2016. Yeah.
Same. And we all traded it so consistently, and it was beautiful. It was just a Bitcoin machine. And then as soon as it ran, and this was pre-Musk, as soon as it broke kind of that 150, I can't remember now, range, everybody sold. Everybody, because we'd all been swing trading it. We're all out.
It's like under a penny. I sold it like when we started talking about it in USD instead of in Bitcoin pair. I knew it was time to get out. I was wrong, but it was like I sold it like a penny for a 15x or something.
Hey, this 15x, that's not bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
And Christopher Walker here makes the best point. Isn't that really bad for taxes, what I just described? The guy wasn't in the US, but yes, in the US, you would have a taxable sale of your Doge every single time just so you could go pay your bills, which would be fully redacted. So listen, I don't know if you can bring up charts because obviously it froze you, but there are any charts you're watching that I can bring up and I can like, drive the car here.
I'm freaking frozen. Like NVIDIA broadcast somehow ruined my streaming setup. It does this every time when I collab now. I gotta figure this out. This is very.
I can bring up any chart you want.
Oh, wait, I'm not frozen. I'm alive, right?
No, you're good, but you're alive. I'm afraid if you share your screen, you might not be.
Yes. How about the dollar? You want to bring up the dollar? Shout about the dollar?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I've got mine. I'm looking at this on the weekly, and it obviously faked out that potential head and shoulders. That's why we call them potential patterns, guys. Can't trade it till there's a breakdown. I still do think we end up down at 89 on the dollar, but go ahead. Tell me what you're looking at and what time frame do you want?
I do too, and I couldn't tell you the timeline on this, but I mean, I think we're all looking at a sub $100, and it just doesn't come. Like, people say Bitcoin is hard to trade. The dollar is by far, in my experience, the most wild chart. Like, any single time I think it's going to do something, it does the other thing, or then it does absolutely nothing. I think everyone's just like kind of tuned into that 100 range, waiting for it to come. Like, we could be seeing a lower high pain here again. I have been in the camp, though, of what I actually just said about Pepe. I'm a big fan of lower highs. I'm a big fan of retracement. I don't think that 106 was the dead cat bounce. Could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. But, like, I still think there's going to be some reason we see it run maybe to, like, 109, 108, something like that, and then just get faded. As much as I'd love to see it just fall down right now, I haven't seen it in a few days, but thank God it's rally looked like it chilled out. It was really going hard there as soon as I left for Miami.
Yeah, here's the daily. Obviously, I have a bunch of weekly patterns on here, so it's whack. I mean, yeah, this is can't call it a double bottom unless it breaks above.
It's slightly lower, but it's a double bottom,
right? But I mean, it's not a double bottom until you actually clear the neckline, right? But it looks double bottom-y. But I mean, you can't really make any, I think, assessment until you're out of that.
Agreed. Now. And it's just going to wait until we're all sure it's not going to do. That's how I feel. The dollar is, people say Bitcoin's manipulated. The dollar is the least dependable asset I've ever tried to like chart or trade. At least
which is interesting because everything trades inversely to it. So it's so important and so hard to trade. I haven't even looked at stonks today, but here's SPY, which is what I usually trade.
They were doing good a day or two ago, right?
Yeah. What I find, they've been doing well. What I find interesting is that the dollar's been rising. Yep. Well, it's down a bit today, but stocks were also rising during that period, which is something you do not often see. Usually if we see this dollar strength, we start to see a real dump in stocks. And it's a very rare moment when all of them are sort of strong at the same time. What do you make of that? I don't, it makes no sense.
22nd. I remember getting an alert that S&P broke, what was it, 420?
Yeah, it was above. Exactly. We all got high.
And I got an alert.
420.91 is where it kind of topped. But yeah, I mean, 420 and 418 is obviously I think this is like a little bit of a deviation above. But yeah, I mean, this is clearly your kind of resistance right now.
I've been waiting for that because it's for me been like a no trade whatsoever below 420. It's just ranging. You have higher lows, higher highs. We finally got it. You know, have you inverted the chart here for S&P lately?
I haven't. I've never done the inverted chart thing. Ooh. You'll literally have to boomer me into explaining how to do it. What do I hit? This guy's real-time trading view tutorial.
It's just a multifaceted show. No, it's very easy. If you just go to the scale on the right, the y-axis where the numbers are, just right click.
Okay. Invert scale.
Invert. Boom. How do you feel about that chart?
Death.
Death. Which means moon. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Because then the dollar, unless the dollar and stocks rally here, but Bitcoin also had a red day. I was very confused by that entire price action. I don't really know what to make of it. It was like dollar up, stocks up, Bitcoin down.
I think right now a lot of it is just Bitcoin, like going back to the original topic, there's no liquidity and no volume, and it's just kind of untethered. It's just kind of floating, right? Regardless of what's happening, I think, in my opinion. But like, listen, Paul Tudor Jones just came out. He said, listen, this crisis is over. Stocks are going to trade much higher this year, going up. It's not like it's rare to find someone right now who's a stock bull. And usually when everybody says there's this guaranteed recession, depression, death coming, that can mean that it's a good counter trade. But man, it's a pretty rough macro. When did you start even thinking about macro when looking at crypto charts?
In like my timeline?
Yeah, maybe the last year for me.
So I have followed the Fed on my channel for years. So I guess years, but at the same time, not in the capacity I do now, because there wasn't as much going on. There wasn't, the Fed meetings would just say nothing. I just like covering them because I was like, someday, as a Bitcoiner, someday these are going to be really important. And now everybody loves them. I'd say probably since like 2020 is when I really started watching them with like stimulus checks and just like the macro in general. seem to change there. I think that's obvious.
Yeah, I think
before
we all
that,
watched it, but I mean, let me rephrase that. At what point, if any, did it actually impact your trade decisions in crypto?
Last year or two, last year, 2 years max. Yeah, it's fun. Those correlations, they come and go, right? It's Bitcoin always goes the same with stocks. Now Bitcoin goes the opposite of stocks, or it's always different from the dollar. I'm beginning to think that no correlations are really true. I mean, the dollar up, all assets down makes sense because you're buying them with dollars and they're a pair. But outside of that, I'm beginning to think that all these correlations are really like a smoke and mirrors show.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and only on limited time frames. And then you zoom out, and it's completely different. So
absolutely,
kind of like the fact that people can like claim they're bullish or bearish, but then they don't specify a time frame, and it's super confusing because they're like actually saying they're bearish on the 5-minute chart, but are super macro bulls. You know, I think that
perma bull.
Yeah,
so anything I say, just only up, right?
Are you watching anything else in crypto? Like, are there any altcoins you're interested in, or are you just sort of? I mean, I'm very sidelined. I'm not. So that's why I'm putting this load on you. Sorry.
It's not the worst in the world to be sidelined. Of course, I still have cash sitting, but I keep pretty heavy in Bitcoin simply because holding has been a huge part of my success in my crypto story since the beginning.
Yeah.
In Bitcoin, no, just Bitcoin really. Everything else is a bag that I just have because I can't sell it yet because it's red. Total crypto market cap is something I watch very closely as well. I love when it
total.
moves
Is that
away.
Total too? Like which
Just
one?
Total. Just total.
Total market cap.
Yeah. I love when
with Bitcoin. Like the only problem that I found with this chart over time was that once stable coins grew massively, it kind of distorted the view to me because stable coins are now such a large percentage of the market and they're not moving. So
what's interesting with that, well, we can go to another chart, Bitcoin dominance, because that is the chart that should be the most impacted by stable coins, right?
Yeah, and I keep thinking exactly, right? And I keep thinking it's supposed to fall off a cliff here like it always has, and it just won't.
If it falls off a cliff here and it breaks like 39 or whatever the range of low is, I mean, I think this is very low probability. But if it happens, in this year, I bet we see Bitcoin go back to the all-time high. That marks the peak of the bull run. If you go back to 17 or right into 18, right into a lower low, it seems like it just didn't happen. It seems like I don't even know how to explain what's happening with dominance. It just isn't moving. It's just stuck.
I think that I do think that has a lot probably to do with stable coins. But like even since I guess this goes back to May of 21, it's been the most predictable like cycle for alt moves. You get overbought or oversold on RSI, which by the way is a meme on Bitcoin dominance because it's not a traded asset, but for some reason it works. Guys, astrology for men. I'm not claiming that like our RSI should be impacted by actual trading and not just by chart movement, but you can still see the same patterns. But I mean, you can see that like it falls off a cliff. These are your alt seasons when it's the blue, when it's falling off a cliff. But we thought that would happen here, and RSI is almost effectively reset without it coming down.
Well, if it goes up,
to your point, like God, how much fun would we have with altcoins if we do get that drop down here to 39 at least for like a month?
Well, if it goes up, I think we're right into 2019. Like we're right into 2019 again, which means what? Bitcoin rallies one more time. Alts don't really follow.
And then we're bored.
And then we're just back to 2019 to 2020 and a lot of sideways trading, a lot of misery, but really good alt entries, at least against Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I would say at like 58, 60 dominance. If you see that come and there's coins that you want that you haven't had, not a bad time to pick it up. I think at the top of this range isn't the worst. Not the worst, but unless you're crazy bullish thinking we're having a new all-time high this year, I think you wait.
Yeah. So, yeah, super boring. I agree. Sadly. Sadly, I agree with him. Anything else you're looking at you want before I let you go? Anything else you're dying to take a I need his glasses, man.
Yeah. You can see what I'm looking at. It's like it's a feature, not a bug.
Oh, no, I found the glasses case with no glasses. I'm trying to find some glasses so I can match you. But
I'll send you some. I'll send you a pair. Just so just spread the love, right?
I need a pair of those same glasses. So
that's what I mean. I mean, we could talk about gold, but gold's being boring outside of just casually breaking its all-time high 3 weeks ago.
It was so weird, and then just bleeding down. It's just the.
It almost kind of looks like Bitcoin. zoomed in a bubble. It kind of looks like Bitcoin with like higher highs and then right back down to like that range low.
I mean, that's a hell of a fucking sweep right there of that all-time high. I think this probably was from a weekly.
It's probably better. Probably better didn't just explode. I don't know what happens, Scott. You can tell me. I don't know what happens to the world if gold just explodes. Doesn't everyone, I don't know, like,
well, if we go into a true like recessionary period here where everybody's admitted it's a recession, I think it flies to $3,000. I mean, take a look at the last. Here, this is let's go on a monthly chart. We've had some raging moments, but if you guys go back to the Great Recession, this is 2006. It was already ranging, but let's call this the really sort of when the Great Recession hit. I mean, it went from 679 to 1920. Gold, right? I mean, 3x'd in value during the Great Recession from late 2008 to 2000, early 2011. Well, so 3 years of tripling gold is, I mean, it's absolute insanity.
I may be wrong, but wasn't because this just sounds
I'm not even showing my screen. Embarrassing. Guys, I was showing you that from here. Sorry, like this was when it dipped at the beginning of the Great Recession, then absolutely ripped up to 1920. So I mean, here's basically the level. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say this sounds wrong to me, and I was not at all in markets during this time. But to my knowledge, the first U.S. gold ETF started in 2004, right?
I think so. After JP Morgan had bought all the gold. I don't remember what year it was, but yes, JP Morgan completely manipulated the gold market and basically got it approved once they had
I think it's
already
04.
secured their position.
And if you look at the chart from 04, here's my hope. Bitcoin US ETF gets approved and we get a 10-year rally like that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it looks like it's March 2003. Highlighted here. First gold ETF launch was Gold Bullion Securities, which listed 28th of March 2003 on the Australian Securities Exchange by ETF. So maybe we got one in the US 2004. I don't know. But yeah, and largely wildly known that that had a lot to do with JP Morgan. But hey, yeah, I mean, a spot ETF would send Bitcoin flying indefinitely.
It's coming. I mean, it's coming eventually, whether it's this administration, next administration, it's coming. I thought I'd already be here, but
all right, man. Well, you're gonna send me some glasses.
I will. I'll send you a pair of these.
Send me a link. You don't need to send me a pair.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'd send them
when he's on. We can match. You could read my screen and my glasses. But I have a really weird skinny head. It's gonna be terrible.
No, they look great on everybody. I promise.
There's literally no way those look great on me. But I'm no. Anyways, guys, Tom Crown, I'm glad we were able to make this happen today, especially last minute. A lot going on in this market. Of course, guys, tomorrow I'll be back with Christopher Inks talking more market shit. We'd love to have Tom back on. So, guys, go over in the comments, tell me he's amazing and you're following him and we need to bring him back. Otherwise, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Tom, thank you very much. Glad you're back from Miami safely. Get your voice back, man. Peace.
Absolutely. Cheers.
That's dope.